students, how are you all? In the previous classes, you have studied about some different classes made by the Mendel, that is monohybrid cross, dihybrid cross, incomplete dominance you have studied, isn't it? Codominance, all you have studied, different types of that crosses. Mendel made monohybrid cross and dihybrid cross. Okay, based on that results he got, from those experiments, those crosses, he concluded some of the laws. He concluded his things or conclusions in the form of laws. That means law of dominance, law of segregation, law of independent assortment. Okay, law of dominance, what says? See, in law of dominance, he says a pair of factors are there. Okay, see, some of the factors, they are responsible for the inheritance of characters from one generation to another generation. Those that subscript, that means that discrete units are called as factors, he says. Okay, something is going to be transferred from parents to offspring. He says those units are discrete units which are going to be transferred from parents to offspring as factors. Secondly, he says factors always occurs in pairs, isn't it? Factors always occurs in pairs. And in the third statement, he said that if the factors may be in their homozygous form or they may be in their heterozygous form. Okay. In homozygous form, the only dominant character is going to be expressed. Whether in case of heterozygous form, heterozygous means the two alleles for a character, they are dissimilar. Okay, see, one is dominant, one is recessive. In that case, in dissimilar factors, one become dominant over the other and other become suppressed by the dominant allele. Okay, so like this he has given the law of dominance, that in F1 when we cross the parents in the F1 generation, we got that Mendel got all the plants, they were dominant, that means in the tall character only we get. Okay, so like this, that says the law of dominance. And law of segregation, so during gamete formation, these alleles are get separated and goes to the respective gametes. Okay, each allele goes to the gametes, so that is known as segregation. Segregation, see, the factors always occurs in pairs. During gamete formation, they are going to segregate and each will go with the respective gametes. So that is known as law of segregation. Law of independent assortment. To explain this law, Mendel has took one of the character, that means dihybrid cross, that is where he took the yellow colored round shaped seeds. Okay, say round and yellow, wrinkled and green character, that means seed color is yellow and the shape is round. Okay, and the recessive one is the seed color is green and the shape is wrinkled, he took. Okay, so while explaining the dihybrid cross, he gets some conclusions and he proposed the law, that is law of independent assortment, by taking the results from his dihybrid cross. Okay, so what happens when the gametes are get separated during or segregated during gamete formation and they are independently assort with each other. Okay, they will go independently and assort with some other alleles. Okay, so that is called as, and that results in the formation of some new characteristic features or production of new progenies in the F2 generation. We can't see those in F1. Okay, see, F1, all the offsprings or progenies resembles the parent one, but in F2 generation, see, along with the parent character, some other different character will also come in F2 generation. So that is because of independent assortment. So that is the law proposed by the Mendel. Okay, Mendel proposed 3 laws. You already studied with example. And the deviations from the Mendelian principles. See, by taking the examples of that incomplete dominance and codominance, these are the deviations from the Mendelian principles. Okay, see, by taking the Snapdragon snapdragon and also 4 o'clock plant. We already studied the incomplete dominance where in F1 generation the progeny, it is not going to resemble either of the two parents, isn't it? We have taken the flower color, isn't it? There, red flower and white flower we crossed, and in the F1 generation we got the pink flower. So that is not going to resemble either of the two parents. So that is the deviation of the Mendelian principle. Mendel says in F1 generation all the progenies resembles the parents, but so this is the exceptional case where we can't see the characters of either of the two parents. Okay, a new character was came in the F1 generation. So that is the deviation of the Mendelian principle. And another one is codominance. See, if the factors for a character exist in heterozygous form, dominant one expresses by suppressing the recessive factor. But in codominance, what happens? Both the characters, dominant and recessive, they are going to express equally. Okay, so that resembles the codominance. Okay, that for example, for the codominance, you already studied by taking the ABO blood group, isn't it? So these are about some of the crossings and the results, okay, made by the Mendel and also Correns. Incomplete dominance studied by or made by Correns. Okay, see, after studying all these, next we shall move on to the today's class. There is different types of crossings. Okay, first one is test cross. Test cross. And another one is back cross. Test cross and back cross. And another one is there, reciprocal cross, but it is not in your syllabus. So that's why I am doing only the test cross and the back cross, only types of crossings. Okay. So first, test cross. So the name itself indicates we are going to test something. The name itself indicates we are going to test something. What we are going to test? See, this test is going to be used to know the genotype of unknown. Okay, this test cross is used. It is used to know. It is used to know the genotype of. It is used to know the genotype of unknown. No, the genotype of unknown. ಯಾವುದೋ ಒಂದು character the genotype ನಮಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿರೋದಿಲ್ಲ. Phenotypic means external appearance, that is morphology. So by looking towards that character or that plant, we can say yes, it is in tall or it is in short condition, isn't it? So that is the phenotype. That means appearance. Okay, that means the expressed character, that is physical appearance or morphology. So that is called as phenotype. Okay, what about the genotype? We can't see the genotype. Okay, so genotype is genetic makeup of an organism. Okay, the phenotypes comes from the phenotype decided by the genotype of or genetic makeup of an organism. Okay, the phenotype decided by the genetic makeup or genotype of that particular organism. Okay, when the plant tall agbeku anta helidre, so that is decided by its genotype. So genotype enagirbeko, whether it may be homozygous tall or it may be heterozygous tall. In that condition only tall plant will appear. Okay, see, the genotype decides the phenotype of a particular organism, isn't it? See, test cross is going to test by testing the genotype of the unknown. Okay, see here test cross is used to know the genotype of unknown character. See, for example, we take test cross is made. In what way we are going to test the genotype of the unknown means the F1. See, we do not know the genotype of F1 character. Okay, see, in the F1 generation all the plants will become tall only according to the Mendel, but we don't know the genotype of F1 generation. The crossing of F1 with that of recessive parent, with that of recessive parent. Okay, see then we will get the genotype of that particular unknown organism. Okay, see ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನಮಗೆ genotype F1 ಯಾವುದು ಅಂತ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. Okay ನಾ? See all were the tall plants in F1 progeny. Tall ಇದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ whether they may be homozygous or they may be heterozygous. ಇವೆರಡರಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಆಗಿರಬೇಕು genotype. ಹೌದಲ್ವಾ? See ಇವಾಗ ನಾವು ಕ್ರಾಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಏನು? See ಇದು ನಾವು ಬರ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋ ಹಾಗಿಲ್ಲ. ಯಾಕೆಂದ್ರೆ all see this resembles the recessive factors and the phenotype it is also comes like the recessive character, that is short plants will come by this genotype. Okay, see if namge F1 generation plant idu phenotype gottu all were tall but genotype equation namage gottilla. So gottilla andaga ಏನು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ that F1 plants crossed with the recessive parent. So recessive parent jothe cross ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. See I will take this one. See ನನಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ, ನಾನು ಅಸ್ಯೂಮ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ F1 ಜನರೇಷನ್ ಬಂದಿರುವಂತಹ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಟಾಲ್ ಇರಬಹುದು ಬಟ್ ಜಿನೋಟೈಪ್ ಮೇ ಬಿ ಹೋಮೋಸೈಗಸ್ ಆರ್ ಇಟ್ ಮೇ ಬಿ ಹೆಟರೋಸೈಗಸ್. ಸೊ ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ನಾನು ಎರಡನ್ನೂ ತಗೊಂಡು ಈಗ ಕ್ರಾಸಿಂಗ್ ಮಾಡಿ ತೋರಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. ಸಿ ಹೋಮೋಸೈಗಸ್ ಟಾಲ್ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ ಕ್ರಾಸ್ ವಿತ್ ದ ರಿಸೆಸಿವ್ ಪ್ಯಾರೆಂಟ್, ವಿತ್ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ರಿಸೆಸಿವ್ ಪ್ಯಾರೆಂಟ್. ಓಕೆ, ಸಿ ವಾಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾಪನ್ಸ್ ಹಿಯರ್. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಈಸ್ ದ ಗ್ಯಾಮೆಟ್ ಹೋಮೋಸೈಗಸ್ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ನಾನು ಒಂದು ಗ್ಯಾಮೆಟ್ ತಗೋತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ, ಇಲ್ಲೂ ಕೂಡ ಒಂದು ಗ್ಯಾಮೆಟ್ ತಗೋತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. ಸೊ ಯು ಮೇ ಟೇಕ್ ಟು ಗ್ಯಾಮೆಟ್ಸ್. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಎರಡನ್ನೂ ತಗೋಬಹುದು ನೀವು. Okay, see what are the progenies will come. Okay, see this gamete will go with this. Okay, and this maybe go with this. This maybe go with this. So this is called as independent assortment, and this may go with this. Okay, see in this cross we will get all the progenies were turned only, and the genotypic ratio is 4:0. Isn't it? 4:0. All the plants are 4 only, and all are in heterozygous condition only. Okay, no one is homozygous here. So this is the ratio we will get. And by crossing this heterozygous F1, if the F1 plants have the genotype like this, if we made cross with this recessive parent, what are the progenies we will get? So these are the gametes produced by this parent plant. Okay, and these are the gametes. Okay, and here see this gamete will independently assort with this, and we will get the genotype like this, and this may go with this one, and the genotype may be like this, and see. So like this we will get here 2:2 we will get 2:2. 2 are heterozygous star and 2 are homozygous dwarf plant we will get. Okay, see by seeing the phenotype of the plants, by seeing the phenotype of the plants, we can easily say the genotype of the unknown parent, isn't it? Okay, see if the ratio comes like this 4:0, if the ratio comes like this, see we can decide the genotype of F1 generation is homozygous tall only. Okay, if we get the ratio like this 2:2, then we can decide the genotype of F1 is heterozygous condition. Okay, that means small t and the capital T. Okay, so like this we can easily decide, or we can easily find the genotype of the F1, that is unknown generation. Okay, see here by seeing the ratio of the phenotype, we will by seeing the ratio of the phenotypes, what we get by crossing the recessive parent with the unknown generation, by seeing these ratios we can decide the genotype of the unknown. If the ratio becomes like this, so the genotype of the F1 or unknown may be, so it is homozygous star. If we get the genotype like this after crossing that F1 with the recessive parent, if we get this type of ratio, then we can decide the genotype of unknown is heterozygous. Okay, see one more is there. If we cross this F1 with the recessive parent, if we cross that one, Okay, see what happens. Sorry. If we cross like this, all the plants will become dwarf only, isn't it? We will get all the plants dwarf only here by crossing these. See here, we can write the ratio like this: 0:4. Okay, here we written 4:0. 4 resembles the dominant character. 0 resembles the recessive one. Here 0 resembles the recessive one. Dominant character. No one dominant character came here, isn't it? Only all the 4 were become recessive only. Okay. See, if question arises in test class, if we get the ratio 4:0, what may be the genotype of unknown? Listen carefully. If the question arises, okay, when a test class made, if we get the progenies ratio like this 4:0, what may be the genotype of the unknown? So for that we should write the answer, that is homozygous tall. If the unknown parent contain homozygous tall, then only we can receive, or then only we can find the ratio 4:0 when we cross this with the recessive parent. See, if another question arises like this, if they ask the question like this, when a test class made, if we get 2:2 ratio, what may be the genotype of the unknown? Okay, so for that you should write heterozygous condition. The alleles in heterozygous form, small capital T and small t. Okay, see here, if the ratio comes when we made a test cross 0:4, okay, the genotype of the unknown may be small t, homozygous dwarf. Okay, so like this, test cross is used to detect, okay, or to find out the genotype of unknown parent, unknown one. Okay, see, for that what we will do in test class? The test class, during test class, the unknown parent will be crossed with its recessive parent. Okay, unknown, the genotype of the unknown, that means the unknown plant, it may be crossed, okay, with its recessive parent. Recessive parent jotege matra crossing ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. Test cross says that it is a cross between F1 with that of the recessive parent. By doing that, we will get the genotype of the unknown. Okay. Next, the question will come in board examination also. So, what is test cross? Okay. What is test cross? It is a cross made between F1 with that of the recessive parent. Okay. Next, back cross. So, back cross is going to be used to improve the breed. Back cross is used. Back cross is used to improve the breed. Okay, back cross is used to improve the breed. Okay, if the progenies are tall, okay, in tall condition, the genotype may be homozygous or it may be heterozygous. Okay, see, and also the dwarf plant genotype this is. Okay, so this is homozygous dwarf and this is the heterozygous tall. See, our wish is we are going to improve these breeds. Okay, idra improve ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ ನಾವು. ಈ dwarf character ಬರಲೇಬಾರದು next time ಅಲ್ಲಿ. ಅವಾಗ ನಾವು we want to get only the dominant character only in the next coming generation. So what we should do? So this plant is crossed with this. Okay, or it may be crossed with this. Okay, if we cross these, see here what happens. So this is the genotype, the gamete, and this is the gamete we will get. Okay, and if we make the cross between these two, we will get the heterozygous tall plants. Okay, so again we want to get the homozygous tall plants, and this may be cross with this one. Okay, so like this we are going to improve the breed by making the back cross. Okay, so these are the two crosses. What is the importance of test cross? Here we are going to test the genotype of unknown parents or unknown factors. Okay, here back cross is going to be used to improve the breed. So this is the significance of these two crosses. Test cross significance is it is used to know the genotype of unknown. Okay, by crossing the unknown with that of the recessive parent. Here back cross is going to be used to improve the breed. Okay, by making different crosses. Okay, by taking the dominant one. So these are the types of crosses we can see in this chapter. Okay. After that, directly now we will study about the chromosomal inheritance, theory of inheritance. Okay, chromosomal theory of inheritance. Chromosomal theory of inheritance. Chromosomal theory of inheritance. See, you all know about the Mendelian experiments. Okay, and after doing his experiments, he says something is going to be transferred from parents to offspring. He named those something as factors. He named those something as factors. Mendel named them those discrete units are going to be transferred from parents to offspring. He named those as factors. Okay, see, these are responsible for transferring characters from one generation to the another generation. Okay, after the Johansen came, he renamed these factors as genes. He renamed the factors as genes. Okay, Johansen, he renamed these factors as genes. So genes are the units of inheritance, and these are responsible for the transferring of characters from one generation to another generation. These determines the characteristic features of the offspring. Okay, by transferring the characters. Okay. See, Mendel, he proposed his laws based on the basis of his results he get from his experiments. Okay, and he published his results in 1865. In 1865, Mendel published his work. Okay, but his work was not get noticed. So because of so many reasons, I already told you what are the reasons that Mendel's work not get noticed. Okay, so because the main thing is he is a mathematician and other biologists were not going to accept his conclusions. Okay, because he is a mathematician and his conclusions were also resembles and they are based on the mathematical formulas only. So that's why they do not accept. Okay, so they did not accept the Mendelian principles in 1865. Okay, see, after that in 1900, so this Mendel work was published. Mendel work was published in the year 1865. Okay, and it kept unnoticed for 60s. In 1884 he was died. Okay, see, after his death in 1900, the three scientists were came. That means Hugo de Vries and Carl Correns and the Sherman. Okay, these three scientists, they made the experiment independently as the Mendel did. ಅವನು ಹೇಗೆ ಮೆಂಡಲ್ ಹೇಗೆ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆರಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು ಟೀ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ಸ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಅದೇ ತರ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆರಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಇವರು ಕೂಡ they did independently. They did the experiments. Okay, and they got the results same as the Mendel's got in his experiment. ಓಕೆ ಅವಾಗ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಜನಗಳಿಗೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ನಂಬಿಕೆ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಓಕೆ so yes Mendel did correctly like that. All the scientists were also accepted the Mendelian principles after that. Okay, after the work of these scientists. Okay, see these three scientists, they rediscovered the Mendelian principles or the Mendelian works. Okay, so based on the experiments what they did. Okay, they did the experiment same as the Mendel did. Okay, so and also they got the results that were also same that the Mendel got in his experiments. Okay, so ಎರಡು ಸೇಮ್ ರಿಸಲ್ಟ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಓಕೆ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಆಮೇಲೆ ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ರೀಸನ್ಸ್ ಏನಪ್ಪ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಮೆಂಡಲ್ ವರ್ಕ್ ಪಬ್ಲಿಷ್ ಆಗದೆ ಇರೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಪಬ್ಲಿಷ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಬಟ್ ನೋಟಿಫೈ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಓಕೆನಾ, ಒಂದು ಮ್ಯಾಥಮೆಟಿಷಿಯನ್ ಅವನು. ಓಕೆ ಆಮೇಲೆ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸಿ what say that microscopes were not invented at that time. Okay, factors ಅಂತ ಅವನು ಏನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾನೆ, factors are the discrete units, so they are responsible for transferring the characters from one generation to another generation. factors ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾನೆ ಬಟ್ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಸರಿಯಾದ ಫಿಸಿಕಲ್ ಎವಿಡೆನ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನು ಕೊಡೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟರ್ಸ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಯಾವುವು, ಅದು ಹೇಗಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಅವರ ಶೇಪ್ ಏನು, ಸೈಜ್ ಏನು, ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಅದರ ಲೊಕೇಶನ್ ಏನು, ಸೊ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಸರಿಯಾದಂತಹ ಎವಿಡೆನ್ಸ್ ಅವನು ಕೊಡದೇ ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಸೊ ಅವನ ವರ್ಕ್ ಕೂಡ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ನೋಟಿಫೈ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಅವನ ರಿಸಲ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಸರಿ ಇರ್ಬೋದು ಬಟ್ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಸರಿಯಾಗಿ ಎವಿಡೆನ್ಸ್ ಅವನು ಕೊಡದೇ ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಸೊ ಹಿಸ್ ವರ್ಕ್ ಬಿಕೇಮ್ unnotified. Okay, till 1900. So these scientists were came, Hugo de Vries, Correns and Sherman were came and they rediscovered again. They did the Mendelian experiments. Okay, and the results they got, those are same as the Mendel's results. So aವಾಗ ಜನಗಳಿಗೆ ಏನಾಯಿತು, ನಮಗೆ ಬಂತು yes we did the correct one like this. Okay, and in 1902 two scientists were came, Sutton and Boveri. Sutton and Boveri. Sutton and Boveri. Okay, Mendelian factors ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ನೋ ಇವರೇನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, again they did the same experiments and ಇವರು ಬರೋಷ್ಟೊತ್ತಿಗೆ 1902 ಅಷ್ಟೊತ್ತಿಗೆ ಆಗಲೇ ಮೈಕ್ರೋಸ್ಕೋಪ್ಸ್ were invented. ಓಕೆ, ಮೈಕ್ರೋಸ್ಕೋಪ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಇನ್ವೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಕೆಲವು ಚೇಂಜಸ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಕೆಲವು ರಿಸರ್ಚ್ಗಳು ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಇನ್ವೆನ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಮೈಕ್ರೋಸ್ಕೋಪ್ ಆಗಲೇ ಅವೈಲೇಬಲ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಸಿ ಮೈಕ್ರೋಸ್ಕೋಪ್ ಅವೈಲೇಬಲ್ ಇದ್ದಾಗ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಈ ಟೈಮಲ್ಲಿ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಸೊ ದೇ ಸಾ ದೋಸ್ ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟರ್ಸ್, ಏನು ಮೆಂಡಲ್ ಹೇಳ್ತಾನಲ್ಲ ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟರ್ಸ್, ಅವುಗಳನ್ನ ಅವ್ರು ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅಬ್ಸರ್ವ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಅಬ್ಸರ್ವ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ದೋಸ್ ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟರ್ಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ದ ಮೆಂಡಲ್ ಸೇಸ್, so those are the discrete units which are found on some of the factors. That means ಅವುಗಳು ಯಾವುದ್ರ ಮೇಲೆ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. Okay, so he called, see these Sutton and Boveri called them as chromosomes. Factors are found on the chromosomes. Okay, so factors are not, they are in free condition, they found on the chromosomes, they are placed on the chromosomes, that we are called as loci. LOCI. Locus means, so it is the place where the genes are located. So those locus are found on the chromosomes. Okay, chroma means color, zoma means body. Some colored bodies are there. Okay, all the colored bodies, these factors are found. Okay, ಆ ತರ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ಅವರ ಥಿಯರಿನಲ್ಲಿ. ಸೊ ಅವ್ರು ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಮೆಂಟಲ್ ರಿಸಲ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ ಬಟ್ ಅವನು ಈ ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟರ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ, so he explained his results based on the factors. Okay, but ಇವ್ರು ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ factors are found on the chromosomes and chromosomes are responsible for the carrying the characters from one generation to another generation because those chromosomes are carrying these genes. Okay, so genes are carrying the characters, those are found on the chromosomes. Because of the division of the chromosomes, because of the segregation of those chromosomes, these genes are also going to separate or segregate. Okay, so because of the transfer of chromosomes, these genes which are found on that particular chromosome, they are also going to transfer. So like this, by means of chromosomes, in terms of chromosomes, these Sutton and Boveri explains the inheritance of characters. So that's why the name chromosomal theory of inheritance. Let us study about the chromosomal Mendel, and here Sudan and Boville. Sudan and Boville. Okay. So Mendel says, first postulate, what he said Mendel, so factors are responsible for carrying the characters from one generation to another generation. He says like that. Okay, so factors are responsible for that. They occur always in pairs. Factors are always in pairs. Factors are always in pairs. Okay, and here also Sudan and Boville says in terms of chromosomes. Okay, see, they observed under the microscope the movement of chromosomes and the division of chromosomes, crossing over of chromosomes during cell division. So by observing all these, they proposed some terms or some postulates in terms of chromosome. They are also said like that chromosomes are also occurs in pairs. Chromosomes are also found or occurs in pairs. Occurs in pairs. Okay, so this is the chromosome. This is one. Okay, and this one. Okay, they always occurs in pairs. They always occurs in pairs. See, the genes which are found, the pair of genes which are found on the same homologous chromosomes. See, if they occurs in pairs, these paired chromosomes are called as homologous. Homologous chromosomes. These paired chromosomes are called as homologous chromosomes. Okay, they are also occurs in pairs. So that is the first postulate. And second one, Mendel says, see, these factors are going to separate. Factors are segregated. Factors are segregated. Factors are segregated during gamete formation. He says factors are going to separate during gamete formation. So you already know. Okay, while studying the monohybrid and dihybrid cross, the gametes are going to separate during the. So that means factors are going to separate. So this is one factor and this is another factor for a tall character. See, it may be heterozygous or it may be homozygous. If the factors are in heterozygous form, see, they are get separated during gamete formation. So meiosis occurs and in that time they are going to separate. Okay. See, like this here also, chromosomes are also going to separate. Chromosomes are also separated during gamete formation. During gamete formation. See, gametes are going to be formed by means of meiosis, isn't it? Mitosis occurs in somatic cells and mitosis is responsible for the growth and development of an organism, isn't it? Meiosis cell division occurs, okay, for the gamete formation only. Gamete formation takes place by means of meiotic cell division. It occurs in reproductive cells or occurs in germ cells, isn't it? Our body contains two types of cells, somatic cells or it may be called as vegetative cells and another one is germ cells or reproductive cells. In somatic cells, mitosis takes place, the number of cells are going to be increased and they undergo differentiation, they form tissues, organs and the organ systems. Okay, replacement takes place. Okay, but meiosis is responsible for the formation of gametes. Okay, so this starts at the age of puberty. See, here also chromosomes are get separated during the gamete formation. See, recall the cell division process you already studied in your last year classes, that is cell division, cell cycle and cell division, isn't it? Meiotic division, it occurs in two phases, meiosis 1 and meiosis 2, isn't it? See, meiosis 1, it contains 4 stages, prophase first, and metaphase first, anaphase first and telophase first. Prophase again contains 5 different stages, zygote, leptote, zygote, pachyte, okay, and diplote and diakinesis. So it is a lengthy process where in that situation, in prophase condition, crossing over takes place. Chromosomes are going to cross with each other. Okay, the crossing may take place within the homologous chromosome or they may be on the non-sister chromosomes. Okay, see, by crossing like this, see like this. So here genes are located. Okay, so genes are located here. Crossing takes place like this. So this gene is going to get separated. Okay, so like this, the genes are going to separate. Okay, during the gamete formation, alleles are get separated during the gamete formation. See, during crossing over, gametes are going to separate and they are going to receive the different alleles. So here also, chromosomes are also get separated. See, in prophase, all the chromosomes were present in at the center of the cell only. During metaphase, what happens? If assume this is a cell, what happens? At metaphase, the chromosomes are lies, isn't it, on the equatorial line. Okay, so chromosomes are lies on the equatorial line. They become thread-like and they assorted or they line on the middle of that cell plate, isn't it? See, during anaphase, what happens? During anaphase, these homologous chromosomes are get separated. See, this one like this and this will go like this. See, these two are get separated. Homologous chromosomes are get separated like this. Okay, and they move towards the opposite poles. These chromosomes move towards one pole and these one move towards the another pole, to opposite pole. Okay, so during anaphase, these chromosomes are get separated. Okay, see, like this, when factors are going to separate at the time of gamete formation, at the same time, the chromosomes are going to separate during gamete formation. So this is the saying of the Sutton and Boveri in terms of chromosomes. Next, third postulate, what he has given. Now, see, the separated gametes, they are going to independently assort with each other. Separated factors. The separated factors are independently assort with each other. Independent assortment with each other. So here also the same postulate given by the Sutton and Boveri in terms of chromosome. See, chromosomes are also, after separation, they are independently assort with each other and that will result in the formation of a new progeny. The variations should be shown by the progenies by independent assortment. So here also, chromosomes are independently assort with each other after their separation during gamete formation. Okay, see, like this, the postulates given by Sutton and Boveri in terms of the chromosomes resembles the postulates given by the Mendel in terms of the factors. Okay, see, that's why the name has given chromosomal theory of inheritance. So that is given by Sutton and Boveri. So, ಇವರು experiment ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಇವರು ಏನು postulates ನ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೋ, so ಅದನ್ನು ಮತ್ತೆ ಮೆಂಡಲ್ಸ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆರಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಇಂದ ಬಂದಂತಹ ರಿಸಲ್ಟ್ಸ್ ನ ಕಂಪೇರ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ಮೇಲೆ is the people are going to recognize the Mendelian work. So that's why Mendel, he famous as the father of genetics. Okay, after knowing his work, the people are get noticed after these experiments made by the Hugo de Vries and Sherman. So Sultan and Bogli Coins. Okay, after that the people would get to know about the Mendelian work and its contribution to the genetics. Okay, so this is about the chromosomal theory of inheritance. Okay, today we studied about the different types of crosses, that is test cross and back cross. So what is the significance of test cross? So it is to know the genotype of unknown. This cross is going to be made. Here what happens? F1. So that is unknown. F1 generation is unknown. So their genotype we can't know. So we don't know the genotype of that F1 generation. To know the genotype of F1, those F1 plants should be crossed with their recessive parent. Okay, small t, small t. So then we will get to know the genotype of the unknown or F1. Okay, so back cross, it is going to be used to improve the breeds. And next, chromosomal theory of inheritance is very important. Okay, test cross ratio keldre 1:1. So this is the ratio of test cross of monohybrid test cross. Dihybrid test cross ratio keldre so 1:1:1. This is the ratio of the test class of dihybrid cross. Idu monohybrid cross. Okay. So next, in the next class I will take up the linkage and recombination. So keeps on the studying. So so just read the text. Okay. See, 1 or 2 times you should watch the videos and then you should read the textbook. Textbook is very important. Okay, so read the text. So without skipping any word or any line to line, you have to read the text. Okay, so keeps on reading. Okay, best of luck.